Ever seen a human blast off like a rocket? Swing through an urban jungle. Ride a grizzly bear. It's your world, and it's all here. Daring, breathtaking, unpredictable. If you've ever thought of skydiving but can't afford the airfare, check this out. At this skydiving simulator, air is blasted up a tube at the speed of a race car. So skydivers can float in space without a plane, without a parachute.
It's exactly a skydiving simulator. Instead of falling through the air at 120 miles an hour, we're blowing the air past us at 120 miles an hour. So the realism of it is incredible.
Group skydiving acrobatics require precise timing. One false move can mess up a formation or knock someone senseless. But at this North Carolina simulator, an 8-member team can train in relative safety. They have to work on their moves and try daring new innovations. They seem to float easily through space, but it takes a surprising amount of effort. Carlos Uribe shows how it's done, contorting his body to direct airflow. To be stable, hips have to be lower than the shoulders and the knees, but he can float higher by flattening his body and increasing its surface area, sort of like a human flying squirrel. The upward rush of wind hits more resistance. If he wants to drop, he arches his body, making the surface area smaller. With less resistance to the wind, he starts to fall faster. To move side to side, he dips his arm and knee on one side of his body, destabilizing it and causing it to veer in that direction. Not as easy as it may look. The force of the wind is powerful, so it takes a lot of strength. But once you have the basics down, the sky's the limit. It started off as an after-school activity at a rec center, stacking cups with lightning speed. This is the action slowed down. And this is real time. Now, stacking cups has become a recognized competitive sport. Stackers from tens of thousands of schools and youth groups compete in organized tournaments. And as in many sports, there's the agony of a fumble. And the sweet taste of victory. "11-year-old Steven Peruganen has already broken the world record 17 times. As in any sport, there are rules of play.
Okay, this is called the cycle, and we start off with a 3-stack. You take one cup and put it down, and put the next one on top, and you stack a 3, and then you stack a 6, and then you stack another 3. Then you go back to where you started, then you take it down, take it down, take it down, and then you bring this 3 into the other, and then you stack a 6, 6, take it down, into the other 6, into a 1-10-1. You have to flip one cup on the opposite edge and the other on the normal side. And then you upstack a 10. And then after you upstack the 10, you take these 2 cups and tap them on the opposite edges like that. And then you take down the 10. And this is what it's like at competition speed.
Humans have gazed at fires for tens of thousands of years. But until now, they've never been able to see flames quite like this. Behind the scenes, a jug of gasoline, a book of matches, and a high-speed digital cinema camera.
So you're gonna pour there, Adam, okay? All right, cool.
The liquid gasoline doesn't actually burn. It's the vapor that ignites. That's what makes the fire run. The intense heat sparks and ignites the vapor down the line. A closer look shows the blue hot leading edge of the flames, while the cooler edges appear vivid red. The movement and color are created by electrons that heat and cool erratically. Gravity and a light breeze generate the ghostly shapes. It's not wise to play with fire, but it's still cool to watch it. The octopus, a master of contortion. Even a large octopus can squeeze itself through a small hole. That's because their bodies have no bones. The only hard part of an octopus is its beak. If the mouth can squeeze through, the rest will follow. With some creatures, often the bark is worse than the bite. But not this trio: the Tasmanian devil, the hippo, and the crocodile. Each of these creatures features tons of teeth, but which one clamps down the hardest? This little gadget measures bite force in pounds of pressure. First up, the Tasmanian devil. It's a marsupial, like a kangaroo. Devils have large pointy molars in the back of their mouths, designed to pulverize their food.
Look, he's got it. $3.95.
The devil nails the stick and clocks in at 395 pounds of pressure. According to one study, pound for pound, that's more than a tiger. Hippos are one of the deadliest animals in Africa. They've got an enormous head, a mouth that can open 150 degrees, and teeth as long as a human foot. At the Toledo Zoo, Steve Kruger wants to measure the bite force of Bubbles with a watermelon. First, Steve and his colleagues demonstrate what it takes to crush the melon: 1,000 pounds of pressure.
Go, Bubs. Here you go.
Now it's Bubbles' turn.
Oh, good. Whoop. Here you go. Good girl.
Well done. Looks like Bubbles is loaded with at least 1,000 pounds of bite force. But how does that compare to the crocodile? This reptile seizes prey with a sudden lunge, gripping it in its jaws until it drowns. Herpetologist Brady Bars in Tanzania to test the bite force of a massive crocodile.
I can't reach him. There we go, okay.
This guy bears down with a staggering 5,000 pounds of force, the most powerful ever measured. It can bite with the force of 5 hippos, or about 12 Tasmanian devils. That's quite a bit of bite. Bonneville, Utah is one of the flattest, fastest spots on Earth. An ancient lake has left a smooth salt deposit, as hard as ice. Racers from around the world come here to try and break land speed records. When everything goes right, some drivers reach up to 400 miles per hour. But when everything goes wrong, like hitting a bump in the road, this could be the result. Keith and Tanya Turk have come from southern Alabama.
Our goal that we set for the two of us for this week is to go 250 miles an hour.
Let's go racing.
While they wait their turn to race, tragedy strikes. It's an old friend, and the accident proves fatal. Tanya doesn't trust the track, but Keith insists on driving.
John would want me to stop. I mean, you know, we have to do this. This is what we do. This is who we are. And that's the passion. That's the same passion John had.
I love you very much, and I'm doing something I desperately want to do, but on the end of the day, I will be careful. I'll take care of your husband.
It's a triumphant moment for Keith. A huge relief for Tanya. And another season at Bonneville. Top 5 countdown. Monster storms. Number 5, tornadoes. Winds that rotate faster than a speeding jet on takeoff. In only a few minutes, it can leave a town looking like this. Number 4, sandstorms. A combination of wind and grit. This satellite photo shows sand from the Sahara Desert blowing clear out into the Atlantic Ocean. Number 3, blizzards. This time it's a combination of wind and snow, blowing so hard it's a whiteout. People can become lost and disoriented, and even suffer frostbite that destroys flesh. Number 2, hurricanes, also known as cyclones. Now you have the deadly combination of strong wind and torrential rains dumping 20 inches or more. All that can easily whip up a massive storm surge. Number 1, tsunamis. Forget the wind. This powerful surge is caused by underwater earthquakes and landslides. A wall of water slams into the coast, like the powerful tsunami that devastated parts of Indonesia. More than a decade ago, Princess Diana died in a Paris car crash. And this is what it may have looked like. Animations like this are helping researchers recreate car crashes in order to help prevent them. Sometimes crashes are caught on tape, but it's rare that a camera is rolling right when a disaster strikes. And it's almost impossible for witnesses to really see what happened in a split second, or comprehend a seemingly random chain of events. But now forensic animators can reveal disasters that happen too fast for the human eye. They reconstruct the scene, showing exactly how vehicles lose control. These videos were created at Knott Laboratory in Denver, Colorado. To start the process, the technicians get photos, police reports, and surveys from the accident site.
One of the vehicle hit that Jersey barrier, right?
Next, it's time for some low-tech help. The model cars help the animators plot out the movements of each vehicle. Then all of the data is transferred into computers. No detail is overlooked. A gouge in the pavement or a tire mark may hold an important clue to what went wrong.
Tires are like shoes. Every tire has different imprint. So you can look in a tire and say, that's semi, that's passenger vehicle, that's this tire, that's the other tire.
They may look like video games, but these animations depict real, sometimes fatal events. Like this one, where a driver fell asleep at the wheel. Learning how to avoid accidents is key, because this is one movie no one wants to star in. The same accident can be seen from different vantage points.
People want to see it because they want to know, did I do something wrong? Could I avoid the accident?
Hopefully, this technology can provide a clearer picture of what happens in a split-second crash. Grizzlies are among the most dangerous predators on Earth. These eating machines need to consume up to 90 pounds a day to get them through their 5 to 6 month winter hibernation. It takes strength, speed, and a keen sense of smell to find all that food. Just how much strength is a question that intrigues Casey Anderson. He's been studying bears in the wild for many years, a passion based on a peculiar friendship.
Watching these bears move big, massive amount of rocks makes me wonder how strong Brutus really is.
Brutus is Casey's best mate. Casey raised him since he was a cub. Sure, their playful wrestling has cracked a couple of Casey's ribs, but living with Brutus gives Casey a novel way to study bear behavior. And to even try a little experiment now and then. Under favorable conditions, bears can smell food from miles away. The question is, what are they willing to do to get to it?
Look. Yeah.
First, Casey hides some salmon under loose rocks.
Come on, Brutus. Come on. There you go. Good boy. Yeah, good.
Brutus easily shoves the heavy rocks aside.
Good boy. Yay. Good boy, Bruty.
So Casey makes it harder. This time he puts the food under a boulder. It weighs some 1,800 pounds. No problem. Brutus effortlessly rolls the rock away. It's going to take a lot more than a boulder to keep Brutus from his next meal.
Good boy. Let's show him how big you are. Up. Good. That's big. Give me a high five. Good boy.
It's a flying hotel with first-class amenities. 18 luxurious rooms, perfect for adrenaline junkies seeking a high over New York. Reserve your suite in the hotelicopter. Does this story fly? Well, no. It is true that hotel-sized helicopters were first manufactured by the Soviets in the 60s, powerful enough to lift a bus. But the hotelicopter video was created as a viral marketing ploy. It was such a well-done hoax that people tried to book rooms and even apply for jobs. But it's an idea that was never really meant to get off the ground. It started as military training to avoid the enemy. Now it's evolved into an increasingly popular pastime. Parkour, or its variant, free running, consists of a series of moves based on energy, efficiency, and speed. But here's what makes parkour so cool. Once you've mastered the moves, you can combine them any way you want to. It's fast, creative, and sometimes painful. In the US city of Denver, a school for parkour puts students through their paces. A large empty fountain proves the perfect testing ground for a variety of moves. Polished? And not so polished. Some of the moves take their inspiration from animals, like the monkey vault and the cat leap. Students also have to learn how to come crashing down to earth without serious injury.
You can't do parkour and not fall. Like, I've fallen a lot. But I think the main thing is you learn how to fall, so you learn how to roll out of it.
Teacher Matt Marshall says mastering parkour is like being a composer of music.
You train the moves, which are the notes and the chords and things, and then you learn, you know, basic roots and movements like a song.
Here's one of his free-form compositions. With parkour, there's really no equipment to buy, no league to join. It's only your environment and imagination. The rest is up to you. This little marvel of engineering ingenuity is called CritterCam, a camera that's fastened to animals. Now we're about to see what they do when we're not around. CritterCam is about to reveal a surprising truth about green turtles. But first, researchers have to catch one. You'd think that would be easy. But these guys off the coast of Australia move surprisingly fast.
Okay, we're good to go.
Now it's time to take a trip to Turtle World. Nothing unusual so far. There's a shovel-nosed shark to the right. And another turtle checking our guy out. But then, something unexpected happens, never before filmed. The turtle snaps up and eats a jellyfish. Green turtles were thought to be strict vegetarians, but CritterCam confirms, for the first time, that jellyfish have a spot on the menu. Lightning strikes in a fraction of a second. But slow it down to 10,000 frames a second, and you can get a good look at a complex phenomenon. These images were captured by this man, storm researcher Tim Samaras. His goal? To film the return stroke, lightning's path from ground back to cloud. When rising warm air meets cold air, droplets of water form. They freeze, and the pellets spark electricity as they collide. And soon the cloud contains more energy than it can hold. The human eye isn't fast enough to follow the return stroke, so it looks like one big burst of light. Tim crisscrosses the American Midwest, chasing violent storms in an effort to photograph the perfect storm.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes getting a little too close for comfort.
West of, all right. Get in here, Carson. This is the safest place to be, is right here in this vehicle. Maybe not with a microphone in my lap.
To photograph the strikes, Tim has constructed an ultra-high-speed camera. When the imagery is slowed, you can clearly see the fingers of supercharged energy as they streak downward, meeting an upward discharge from the Earth. The return stroke. He's got it. A natural phenomenon caught in a flash. Top 5 countdown. Shark facts. Number 5. A few species lay eggs. This is the site of a cat shark, hatching from an egg case called a mermaid's purse. Number 4. The vast majority of sharks are born alive, like this little lemon shark. Want to see that again? Number 3, as soon as they're born, most sharks have to get moving and stay moving. They need a constant rush of water over their gills in order to breathe. Number 2, sharks usually feed on other fish, but if one of their own is bitten or injured, they turn into cannibals. All join in the feeding frenzy. The number 1 fact about sharks. Great whites are the largest predatory fish in the ocean. What makes these chops so notable is that the great white's upper jaws aren't fused to its skull. They hang loosely, so they can open really wide. Eric Scott is a rocket man. Jetting through the air at a record-breaking 68 miles an hour. Jetpacks were supposed to be the wave of the future when they were created almost 50 years ago, but they never really took off. Too heavy, too slow, and couldn't go very far. Now, Eric and his team are looking to bring the jetpack into the 21st century. It runs on hydrogen peroxide, forced under pressure into a powerful jet of steam.
You don't want to ever forget your earplugs because this thing's 130 decibels.
Despite advances, this pack weighs more than 100 pounds, and there's only enough fuel for 30 seconds of flight. But what a 30 seconds! Sailing over a freeway, Eric soars higher than a 10-story building. Then it's back to Earth. Time's up. Scientists say most people get a thrill watching things be destroyed. Whether it's rooted in simple curiosity, perverse pleasure, or a full-blown adrenaline rush, it's hard not to look. And our crew was willing to do just about anything to benefit science.
All right, John, you ready for this one?
Indeed, I am.
Could be a little messy.
Stand by.
To enhance the experience, we'll use a high-speed digital cinema camera to capture the imagery.
John, you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
One more time. There. Feel better now? Penguins, designed by nature for speed and grace underwater. The originals are so perfect that now, one company in Germany wants to recreate them as flying robots. The prototypes are made out of flexible glass fiber rods and balloon bodies pumped with helium. These flying penguins are even outfitted with sonar, so they can navigate through the company's atrium, avoiding collisions. Chief engineer Marcus Fisher says they create automatic robotic machines that imitate animals.
We think learning from nature is always good to do because nature has developed a lot of solutions.
Humans have been at the design board for thousands of years. Nature has been at it for eons. The designers here are working to mimic the best in the business, the natural world, a perfect meld of form and function. Take, for instance, a bionic barracuda. The tail is strong, but flexible. It's inspired this gadget, called a fin ray gripper. A light and flexible tripod can seize and grasp almost any size object with uncanny precision. There's no practical application for penguins yet. Perhaps they'll inspire the next big idea, which is just what they're designed to do. When Eskil Ronensbakken strikes a balance, he takes it to the extreme.
Some see it as art. Other people might see this as stupid, but to me it's talk about being free and able to do what I want in my life.
For more than a decade, he staged spectacular feats of balance around the world. Thousands of feet in the air, in frigid winds, on moving and unstable objects. Bikes and balloons. Eskil says achieving extreme balance allows him to test his limits and find his potential.
Most human beings that walk around think that too many things are impossible, and they are actually possible. You just got to work hard and see the opportunities.
Now, Eskil is taking his message and his methods to the slums of Nairobi, Kenya. He's working with a group of young Africans, teaching them the technical skills of balance and inspiring them to overcome fear and learn to trust others.
As a professional balancer, you got to be able to overcome any sort of fear that you face through life. You got to be totally in peace with yourself.
Today, Eskil chooses a young woman named Leah to take on a new challenge. For it to work, she must trust Eskil. He leads her to the very edge of the rooftop. With Eskil's help, Leah discovers the rewards of teamwork and positive thinking.
I think I learned something, especially about trust, proving that anything is possible.
Top 5 countdown, venomous snakes. Number 5, the desert death adder. It's fast. With a strike under 1/10 of a second, this snake packs a powerful punch, paralyzing prey and ultimately causing death by asphyxiation. Number 4, the Malaysian crate. It's toxic. These fangs may be small, but they release one of the most powerful neurotoxins in the world. Number 3, the zebra snake. It's patient. After a bite, this snake waits for the powerful venom to do the rest of the work. Number 2, the Gaboon viper. It's huge. The largest viper in the world also has the longest fangs. The number 1 venomous snake, the western coral. It's deadly efficient. It's shorter than your arm, its fangs are tiny, and it injects only a drop of neurotoxic venom. But that's all it takes. There's no speed limit. And brakes are optional. It's called mountain boarding. A cross between snowboarding and skateboarding on steroids.
It started out as a jump like this, and then got like this, and it's like this, so it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
This is my fire foot. It's the push leg. It pushes the board.
Let's do it.
That's right. The increasingly popular sport was developed 20 years ago by snowboarders looking for summer thrills. And in case you think it looks too easy, here's a group trying to get over a rock on a muddy, drizzly afternoon. On ramps, the going is a bit smoother. Of course, that also means faster and higher.
When you're freestyling, you know, we want to go as fast and as big as we can. You know, it's what we like to do. We like the hype, we like the pump.
In this case, hitting the slopes doesn't have to involve snow at all. This is Earth from space, serene and tranquil. But here's the view below the surface. The ocean floor and continents are just a crust riding on Earth's fiery interior. This map shows where the jagged plates slowly collide, creating this. A 46,000-mile-long crack stretching across the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. On the surface, these lines are marked by earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. It's an unusual look at our violent planet, from the inside out. This is the skeleton of a four-eyed possum and a bony orbicular burrfish. What looks like a miniature dinosaur is actually a weasel. And this feisty little creature is an American kestrel. This skeleton reveals that a puffer doesn't have a full set of ribs.
The lack of ribs allows their body to inflate without damaging bone.
Biologist Steve Husky believes that looking at animals inside out is the best way to discover how they functioned when they were alive. And he has a unique process to make these skeletons. Animals are dead on arrival, procured from pest removal companies or research suppliers. The skin is removed from the forest cobra. The innards are cleaned. And then the carcass is dried. It's positioned in a lifelike pose so Steve can better study how it functioned. This cobra is propped up with a box and pinned into place. Then, the real work begins. The bodies are placed in tubs that are full of beetles, little eating machines. Tissue goes in one end, while waste flows out the other, fouling their nest of cotton balls. And if you think this is disgusting to look at, be glad you can't smell it. The carcasses of 2 mole rats are stripped clean of their flesh within 20 hours. Now Husky can get a clearer look at the animal's mechanics. The mole has the upper torso of a bodybuilder, with strong shoulders and paddles to dig and move dirt.
It's like it's working out all day long.
With Husky's technique, everybody wins. The beetles get the meal, and Husky gets the leftovers. Picked clean. Humans are able to detect at least 10,000 colors. But with a 360-degree field of vision, this mantis shrimp may see 100,000. Talk about high definition. When they're first born, piglets battle for the teats with the best milk. It's a crucial struggle. The piglets that receive the richest milk will grow stronger than their siblings stuck with less nourishing teats. Once they've established their feeding order, the piglets settle down. They know their place and stick to it. This experiment is going to show you just how tenacious the little porkers can be. A researcher numbers the piglets in the order in which they're feeding. Then she jumbles them up. Immediately, the youngsters struggle back to their assigned spots, bypassing teats on the way. When these guys get together for a meal, it's a place for every piglet, and every piglet in its place. Unheated, uncomfortable, and unfriendly. Welcome to the prison hotel. It's a real prison, complete with bars, guns, and surly drunken guards. You'll surrender all personal possessions, except a toothbrush, and go directly to your cell. Amenities include a squat-style public lavatory and a staff to attend to your every need.
Do you have room service? I would like to order breakfast.
The VIP package includes an interrogation and an exam in our disgusting medical facility. So what do you think? Is this hotel real or a joke? Actually, it's real. It may not rate any stars in the travel guide, but this hotel in Latvia draws guests who want a different sort of getaway. The upside? People here are always free to check out. Spot the octopus on the coral reef. Now you see it. Now you don't. It's camouflage, the evolutionary animal adaptation that allows brains to triumph over brawn. To understand how it works, researchers are turning to an octopus cousin, the cuttlefish, a master of disguise.
This is the fastest system we know of. They can change their color and pattern in less than a second, about 700 milliseconds to be precise. That's faster than an eye blink.
Researcher Roger Hanlon places one of these quick change artists on a checkerboard. Immediately, it develops black lines, trying hard to blend in. A valiant, if ultimately unsuccessful effort. But watch what happens when he puts the creature on a colored checkerboard. Nothing. It's a startling discovery. Cuttlefish are colorblind. As a result, it sees this blue and yellow checkerboard as gray. It's all the more strange because cuttlefish are surrounded by colorful reefs and even use color to communicate. Hanlon has some theories on how the cuttlefish is able to make these fantastic adaptations, but they're still only theories at this point. Check this amazing cuttlefish action. The male on the left is dividing his body in half. The red side tells the female he wants to mate, while the white side tells other males to stay away. When the female switches position, he swaps his color scheme, so she sees only his warm and fuzzy side. So while cuttlefish may see the world as drab and gray, we get to see these camouflage artists in all their colorful glory. Top 3 countdown, unusual sports. Number 3, chess boxing. A round on the board is followed by a round in the ring. Yes, you need brains and brawn. The winner may be decided by checkmate or a knockout. Number 2, extreme ironing. Enthusiasts will go to great lengths for a well-pressed shirt. It's daring, but neatness counts. And the number 1 extreme sport, underwater ice hockey. Yes, teams play upside down under a slab of ice, chasing a styrofoam puck. Air breaks are every 30 seconds. It's a thrill for those who don't mind the chill. Your world. Weird. Daring. Breathtaking. Amazing.